Welcome to spiritualitystepbystep.com. I'm Dan Wigner, and I'd like to talk to you today about the spiritual practice of letting go or letting go meditation. So, to take a look at that, if you follow me to my website, spiritualitystepbystep.com, then if you click on spiritual practices, it will lead you to a list of all the ones noted here. As I've said in other videos, you can find even more practices and variations of practices in my book, Just Begin, the source book of spiritual practices. And like all my other spiritual practices, what I like to do is give you a basis to begin with a spiritual practice, give you step by step, as simple as possible, a framework that you can then explore, adapt, and experiment with for yourself. So while I'm going to show you how to get started, please vary this up however it fits for you as you build your own spirituality. So let's take a look at letting go meditation here. As with most of my other practices, you'll note that I offer usually a definition and background before I lead into how to practice with a very basic series of steps. In this case, I want to talk about a letting go meditation because I feel like in the midst of our world and this year of 2020, there are a lot of frustrations, hurt feelings, crisis, and all sorts of situations at an unprecedented level, or at least unprecedented in the recent past. And as those feelings build, they can begin to not only worry us, affect us mentally and spiritually, but even physically. And one of the ways to divest ourselves of all the just pent up emotion through this is a letting go meditation. Also, this is something that can help us when we've had difficulty with a friend, a coworker, a family member, and we just can't quite seem to let go of our hurt feelings. These two variations are visualizations that can help you with that process, and maybe something you want to repeat over and over again, not just as a one-time thing. So the first variant, as you'll see here under how to practice, is bubbles. Sit in a comfortable position, not so comfortable you'd fall asleep, but not where your mind would be drawn to how uncomfortable you actually are. So probably just sitting in up straight in a chair is usually a good way to go, or cross-legged on the floor if you prefer. You want to close your eyes and breathe slowly and mindfully for a few breaths. Really concentrate on breathing in and breathing out. After you've had a moment to settle, now imagine your trouble or anger or fear or worry or whatever it is that's bothering you, and imagine it. You might imagine a person, you might have a picture, you might have even just a word. Sometimes what works best for me is to imagine it like on a child's set of toy blocks, the word itself. And then if you imagine that word or object or person in a bubble, just a large bubble, and consciously visualize that bubble floating up and up and up and out of sight, out of your mind, and let it just kind of, as it's going, you wish it on its way, wish it well, into nothingness. Now, not the person specifically, but maybe any hurt feelings you have with the person. Then you take a few more deep breaths after you visualize that in your mind's eye and open your eyes. And that's all there is to it to get started. Now, again, you might want to do that multiple times. And especially after the first time, you might not feel all that different. But take some time to experiment with it and see how you like that. In the spirit of exploration and experimentation, I have a different variant that you might also prefer. It's called palms down, palms up, where you can, in that chair that you're sitting in, if you just put your hands kind of on your knees or maybe a little past your knees where your palms are kind of hanging off and they're facing, your palms are facing toward the floor. And at that point, you can pray silently or aloud to God and just name your feeling or the situation, however you want to, followed with saying, God, this feeling is hurting me. I need your help. Please be with me through this feeling. And that's not necessarily saying take it away or fix everything, but just be with me. Then turn your palms up as a gesture of receiving help to work through that feeling. You can take a few more deep breaths and then open your eyes. This variant is particularly helpful if you're not a very visually oriented imagination type of person. The first one, if you can really see clearly imaginations in your mind, that's very helpful. If particularly if you're a little bit more hands-on kind of person and a little less visually oriented in your imagination, maybe the second variant would help you. But try them both, maybe mix them up, and never be afraid to explore or experiment. But the most important thing is to just begin. And then you always can figure things out from there.